the more and more we can add these sorts of things to our personal our digital signature, I don't know if it's necessarily a good thing. It gives me such a Black Mirror vibes, where they have all these episodes where you're rating everyone you see on the street, and everyone with low ratings is like getting like the worst accommodation, the worst healthcare, and all that sort of stuff. Like it's seriously a bit dystopian.
You know what? Before you
digital signature so much that you might create this even bigger divide than we already have on some of these things. It's an interesting topic to look at.
Yeah, I actually saw some Web 2 companies actually try to implement that like social credit thing. And it was more like, it was like, this was way back before, like, it was like politically, like, kind of like, I don't know. It was actually a Web 2 company. And what they would do is they would just, all you do is log in with your social media, and they would track your, engagements and see kind of like how valuable that was. And like you said, like the accommodations, companies might accommodate you better. So the whole idea was like, if you go to check in a hotel, if you were like, literally they could tell who you were or how good like your socials were. And you might get a better room because you're more likely to take an Instagram picture and share it with your audience. And so that was kind of the idea and thinking. So I still think that's probably going to happen just based on, human nature. And for a business to like, hey, this guy has 1 million followers, let's probably hook him up with something good here, because he might share our business, and let's accommodate him well. So I think that's still going to happen whether people like it or not. I think there's ways to probably do it that's not intrusive, but I still think there's just so much data that's already been collected. I just don't see that like going away anytime soon. Like as much as we're still in the decentralized, like, we love NFTs and crypto for being decentralized, we're still using centralized like internet, centralized like social media. So I don't see us ever getting away from centralized like, platforms altogether,
Yeah. I think there's I think on that, I think there's always going to be like, it's not a yes or no situation. I think it's a both. I think we're going to need a bit of centralization, and we're going to need that decentralization. I think it's finding that balance is where I think we're going to win, because right now it's heavily skewed towards centralization. And I think that's where a lot of the frustration comes from for a lot of people. And now we're kind of moving that scale to the other side. And more often than not, we try to overcorrect. And I think that's why a lot of people are like, yo, we want complete decentralization. But I don't think, like, it's like, again, relax, take a breath. Like, we need to be in the middle. Like, there's a good and bad for both things. And we need to be in that middle and kind of just slowly shift it as we need.
I always like to use an example is like, really in society, we don't do anything almost that's like fully decentralized, like at all. Like, when you go to like the store, you have to have something that's central to pay for something at, so everything like is, you go to a central place and you pay with something central, and like maybe they accept crypto, but you still have to go somewhere. Like somebody has to do a job at a central location. And there's like, with insurance, there's centralized companies. The reason why is because like those companies like have existed for a long time, and they have built their success off of being centralized. So, if there's some kind, a company in the future that could do hybrid model and make it a success, like all power to that. But and I think maybe there's going to be innovations there, like with NFT insurance or something like that. And I think maybe we'll see some, improvements in that industry. But it's just hard to like do away with centralization altogether. I think, I think that's a tough, tall order for society.
Yeah. And I think, for like, because people want convenience, right? Again, not everyone wants to have their seed phrase and things. And I know that's what we should be doing. But again, people want convenience. And what are we expect our grandma and grandpa to know their seed phrase? Like the older generation, they want convenience. So like you say,
Well, it's not even just convenience. I mean, banks serve a role, right? I mean, if you lose your money, banks have a way of recovering that or compensating you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Through insurance, right?
Through insurance and things like that.
In your own business.
That's a useful service. That's a very useful service. And I'd like to see crypto insurance and stuff in the future. Obviously, you can never actually get that crypto back. So it'd have to work a little bit differently, but it's a really interesting. I think we do need those centralized services. But we also need decentralized services, and everyone having their own choice is a part of the thing, right? That's all that really matters, the freedom of choice.
I think that's what it is. I think it's we're gunning for the choice. Yeah.